My name is Avery. The wedding album sits open on Aunt Evelyn's coffee table like a polished shrine to exclusion. I stand motionless, fingertips prickling with cold shock, staring at my brother Caleb grinning beside his bride, the same brother whose wedding invitation promised I would be there tomorrow. Avery, sweetheart, I assumed you already knew. Aunt Evelyn's voice trembles behind me, heavy with guilt sharper than sympathy. The crystal picture frame I had wrapped so carefully slides from my grasp. Glass explodes across the living room, a brittle echo of the fracture spreading through my chest. Shards glitter on the hardwood, catching slanted afternoon light pouring through the bay windows. That can't be real. My own voice sounds far away, hollow. I have the invitation right here. I dig through my bag, pulling out the heavy cream envelope addressed to me in perfect calligraphy. See, June 15th, tomorrow. Aunt Evelyn accepts it with shaking fingers, glasses slipping down her nose. Oh, Avery. Her words crack. The ceremony was last weekend. They gave you the incorrect date. Deliberately. The floor seems to shift under me. I had taken the day off from my senior marketing role, spent weeks choosing the ideal gift, finding the appropriate dress, rehearsing polite small talk for relatives who rarely remember I exist. How could they do something so vicious? Your mother. Aunt Evelyn pauses, then straightens her posture. They concluded it would be simpler without you present. The memory rushes back, standing by my mailbox, sunlight glinting off the gold foil as I trace my name, hope rising like a tide. Perhaps this was reconciliation. Perhaps they finally wanted me included. I recall the dinner 2 months earlier when Caleb announced the engagement. His gaze swept the table, landing on every face except mine. Still, I smiled, congratulated them, acted as though the omission didn't sting. That same weekend I visited 4 boutiques searching for a dress, elegant, understated, something that whispered belonging. The sales associate had smiled at my reflection, saying I looked radiant with anticipation. Now I kneel, gathering broken crystal pieces one by one. When Aunt Evelyn reaches to assist, I shake my head. I've got it. My hands shake, yet my tone has steadied. They've treated me as invisible my entire life. Now they've made it formal. For once I refuse to invent excuses, refuse to dilute their cruelty. Something inside me shifts, a long compressed fault line finally giving way. I rise, meeting Aunt Evelyn's glistening eyes. I argued with your mother about this decision. She twists her hands together. I told her it was wrong, heartless, but she dismissed me. Claimed you'd raise awkward subjects, ask difficult questions. A bitter laugh nearly escapes. Awkward subjects like the tens of thousands I've quietly transferred to prevent the family lake house from foreclosure through my investment company. Difficult questions like why Caleb's repeated business collapses are excused while my achievements are brushed aside. For years I've tried to purchase my place among them. I bundle the shards into the gift wrapping, its cheerful design now bitterly ironic. I believed if I succeeded enough, contributed enough, they would finally acknowledge me. Aunt Evelyn takes my hand, her skin feels thin and cool. Some people simply cannot see what's directly in front of them, Avery. Not won't, cannot. The truth settles quietly. No accomplishment would ever suffice. No sacrifice would force genuine recognition. I've spent my life attempting to earn what should have been given freely, letting them define my value. I glance back at the album, smiling faces celebrating a day that erased me completely. They hadn't even needed to crop me out, my absence was already complete. They chose long ago. Now it's my turn. And I choose differently. I choose to stop being invisible. The following afternoon the steering wheel feels slippery beneath my palms as I ease into my parents' sweeping driveway. Their stately Tudor home stands immaculate under the pale sky, hedges trimmed, windows gleaming, nothing hinting at the deception inside. I switch off the engine but stay seated, watching through the large window as they relax in the living room, wedding photos scattered around them. My mother's laugh drifts out, that same light, musical sound I've spent decades chasing. My father reclines in his favorite chair, more at ease than I've witnessed in years. Caleb, golden son, stands near the fireplace, lifting a framed portrait, his voice carrying across the grass. Smartest thing we did was keep her away. She would have ruined the entire day, same as always. Nausea surges. I grip the door handle until my knuckles blanch. They laugh on, turning pages, unaware I'm watching. 3 full minutes pass before Mother notices me in the doorway. Her champagne flute vanishes behind a silver frame with practiced ease. Avery. No warmth, no question, just recognition of an unwelcome arrival. The wedding happened last weekend. My voice holds firmer than my knees feel. You deliberately sent the wrong date. Caleb keeps his eyes on the album. I wanted one flawless day without your presence. The bluntness lands heavier than any excuse could. No deflection, no apology. You've always disturbed our harmony, Avery. Mother smooths her necklace, the familiar anxious gesture. Can't you see we needed one celebration free of your intensity? Father stays silent, staring at his hands as though they contain answers. His quiet endorses everything without a word. I step deeper into the space, noticing how they claim the sofas while I remain standing, an unspoken diagram of our roles. I've covered thousands in repairs and taxes for the lake house through my company. The words hang between us. Did you believe I wouldn't discover you've been telling people it's still entirely yours? Mother flicks her wrist dismissively. That's what capable children do, support their parents. It's expected. Messing with your marketing charts while the rest of us pursue real professions. Caleb smirks, dropping the album carelessly. Dad built actual structures. I design buildings. What exactly do you produce besides cash? Their words crystallize the reality I've dodged for years. To them I'm not family, I'm a convenience, an account with feelings they'd prefer to ignore. I catch my reflection in the overmantel mirror, shoulders rounded, head slightly bowed in habitual apology. How long has this diminished version lived inside me? The woman conditioned to shrink at gatherings, soften her voice at dinners. Let me clarify something you've clearly forgotten. I retrieve a slim folder from my bag, prepared on the drive over. Here is proof of every payment, every repair, every tax installment for the lake house. Mother's gaze narrows, uncertainty flickering. And crucially, the deed is in my name alone. I set the document down. You transferred your share to my company 3 years ago when Caleb required funds for his collapsing bistro. Father finally looks up, confusion warring with realization. Feel free to challenge it, I continue, strength building in my tone. The records are meticulous. Lydia ensured everything was airtight. Lydia. Our Lydia Chang. Mother's pitch rises. The family lawyer. My lawyer now, I correct. For the last 5 years. 15 minutes later I walk back to my car, hands unsteady yet steps deliberate. Should I sever financial support instantly or taper it slowly? Swift retribution appeals, but would that mirror their coldness? What do you do once you realize those meant to love you have only exploited you? I start the car, its gentle hum calms my pulse. For the first time since that deceptive envelope arrived, something resembling peace stirs. Perhaps the truest union wasn't Caleb's wedding, but my own commitment to the woman I've always been capable of becoming. That same afternoon my phone vibrates repeatedly, cousins suddenly worried about my state of mind. Mother has been active. Avery, dear, we're concerned. Uncle David's voice crackles. Your mother says you've been spreading serious allegations. I press fingers to my temple. Did she mention the fake wedding invitation with the incorrect date? Silence answers. There must be some mix-up. No mix-up, Uncle David. They didn't want me present, so they ensured I wouldn't be. After the call ends, I open my laptop. Caleb has uploaded wedding photos online. Surrounded by the people who count, the caption reads beneath an image of our beaming parents beside the couple. My long-standing absence now glares from every frame. The cruelest strike arrives by mail, a formal demand on father's letterhead insisting the lake house return to its rightful owners, as though I stole rather than rescued it. Nights become sleepless, photos fan across my bed, smiling faces mocking my former trust. Did I invent moments of warmth? Fabricate belonging where only indifference existed? Loneliness settles heavier without the illusion of family. At 3 a.m., in a low moment, my thumb hovers over mother's contact. Perhaps I'm exaggerating. Perhaps one sorry could mend things. But whose comfort would that serve? Not mine. Instead, I open my laptop and begin logging. Every check to cover Caleb's failed ventures. Every transfer for lake house taxes. Every unrepaid loan. The spreadsheet lengthens, each line a stone fortifying the boundary I'm finally constructing. Tuesday midday, a knock interrupts my focus. Aunt Evelyn stands in the doorway holding bags from my favorite cafe. Figured you might forget to eat. She sets a sandwich beside my keyboard. Her hand rests on my shoulder, silver rings glint. I'm proud you finally stood your ground. About time someone in this family showed backbone. The gentle contact nearly breaks me. My assistant's voice crackles through the intercom. Miss Langford, your parents are downstairs. No appointment. Aunt Evelyn squeezes lightly. Want me to remain? I draw myself up. No. This one I handle alone. They enter, mother instantly produces tears, mascara miraculously undisturbed. How could you turn your back on your own family? We've always supported you. Father stands stiff beside her. The lake house has belonged to our line for generations. You have no claim. They stay on their feet while I remain seated behind my desk, no longer rising instinctively. That house ceased being family property years ago. My voice holds steady. You transferred your portion to my company when Caleb's cafe collapsed. Mother's tears vanish. We never did any such thing. I slide a document forward. Your signature, Mother. April 2018. Father advances half a step. We assumed when circumstances improved. You assumed I'd quietly return it. Or assumed I'd keep financing everything while remaining excluded. The sentences come smoother now. I'm not your personal fund. I'm not the family's emergency reserve. I'm finished. For the first time, Mother regards me with something besides disdain. Unease. I've been clear. The intercom sounds. Miss Langford, Lydia Chen has arrived for your 2 o'clock. Perfect. Lydia enters, briefcase in hand, presence commanding the space. Mr. and Mrs. Langford, I believe this discussion is over. She motions toward the exit with calm authority. This is private family business, Mother snaps. Which is precisely why my attorney, Miss Chen, is managing it. All future contact goes through her office. The difference is stark, Lydia's respectful Miss Langford against Mother's glare. As Lydia guides them out, Father glances back once, certainty replaced by bewilderment. When the door closes, Lydia returns with files. Ready to finalize. With every signature my voice strengthens, my hand surer. The 30-day eviction notice for the lake house feels like a personal declaration of freedom. Your mother's signature is unbreakable, Lydia confirms. They have no legal standing. As I complete the last page, my phone illuminates with Caleb's name, the first call in years. I let it ring. Some summons no longer deserve a response. The next morning, documents fanned across financial advisor Marcus reads white desk like strategic maps. I sign methodically, confidence growing with each stroke. Joint accounts terminated. Co-signed debts reassigned. Portfolios separated. Marcus ticks items off, tone calm and practiced. Excellent timing. By their usual schedule, your parents should be midway through their club lunch just now. I check my watch, 12:41. Mother ordering her second drink, father nodding at some retired acquaintance. Their predictable habits have become my tactical edge. And the protective order. Marcus adjusts his glasses. Judge Larson reviews it this afternoon. Evidence is solid. Workplace intrusions have clear precedent. I recall the surprise visits, lobby disruptions, office whispers. My hand tightens beneath the desk. I've watched families ruin lives, Avery. Marcus closes his folder decisively. You're choosing correctly. His assurance quiets something that has trembled inside me for days. My phone buzzes, I expect Aunt Evelyn. Instead, building security appears on screen. Miss Langford. Situation in the lobby. Your brother insists on seeing you. Marcus nods toward the speaker button. I activate it. Is he causing a scene? Yes, ma'am. Protocol requires logging the event. He's very focused on financial issues. Marcus writes quickly and slides the note over. This bolsters the protection application. I'm not coming down, I inform security. Handle it per standard procedure for unauthorized persons. 15 minutes later, another call, unknown number. Avery. It's Sophie. Caleb's wife. Her tone wavers. I'm outside your office building. I brace myself. I witnessed the entire scene in your lobby. I never imagined he could behave that way. Through the glass I see her near the plaza fountain, shoulders curved against the breeze, phone to her ear. He claimed you refused to contribute to the wedding, that jealousy poisoned you. Her voice breaks. But none of that was accurate, was it? You weren't even told the real date. The truth lingers between us. I'm sorry, she murmurs. I should have questioned your absence. I watch her tuck hair behind her ear, wedding band flashes in sunlight, barely married, already seeing beneath the surface. Marcus quietly exits, granting privacy. When the door shuts, I speak. Why tell me now? Because I recognize his expression today. It's the same one my father wore before threatening my mother. I refuse to wait decades before acknowledging what I see. When Sophie contacted me, I debated whether to keep every wall intact or permit one narrow opening. Could someone linked so closely to my hurt become trustworthy, or was this merely another snare? Aunt Evelyn arrives later that afternoon carrying an old leather satchel. I've saved these for years. She spreads folders, email chains, texts, financial notes spanning a decade. Your mother never deleted anything. Always kept potential ammunition. I scan messages exposing calculated exploitation. Need funds for Caleb's startup, tell Avery it's temporary. Say the lake house needs only minor work, don't mention structural damage. She's visiting for the holidays, move the new jet ski before she arrives. Each line strikes like a slap. Lydia joins me midway through the second binder. She reviews critical items, expression tightening. These significantly reinforce our lake house ownership claim. A judge will recognize the pattern. Marcus returns confirming extra account protections are active. They can't touch anything, even with partial information. Next morning Lydia phones. I drop into a chair. Judge approved the protective order. Clear evidence of emotional and financial harassment. They must stay 500 feet from your home and office. That afternoon Aunt Evelyn calls again. Your cousin Lauren cancelled bridge with your mother. Couldn't face her after what happened. Dominoes begin tumbling. Uncle Philip drops them from holiday plans. Grandmother's closest friend declines their invitation. Rumors spread, Caleb drinking more, Sophie reportedly returning to her parents. His financial cushion vanishes with her. When the official eviction notice reaches my parents' address, denial finally cracks. Consequences they never anticipated have arrived. I trace the raised lettering of my company letterhead, the same entity that acquired the lake house 3 years earlier when Texas became unmanageable. The house they still consider theirs. Truth emerges slowly, document by document. A week later Wednesday morning light spills across the granite lobby of my office tower, feeling subtly altered. I've entered these doors countless times, yet never quite like today, guards nodding knowingly as my parents arrive accompanied by Pastor Daniels. Mother's coat hangs crooked, strands escape her usual flawless style. Father's shoulders curve forward in unfamiliar submission. Pastor Daniels walks between them, Bible pressed to his chest like armor. Avery. He extends his hand, employing the measured, soothing tone reserved for bedside prayers. Your parents felt a neutral voice might help facilitate discussion. I leave his hand untouched. Nothing neutral about someone who's shared our Christmas table for 2 decades, Pastor. Mother advances, voice unsteady. We've prayed over this, Avery, over your recent actions. My actions. A soft, surprised laugh escapes. The lake house has belonged to our family for generations. Father speaks at last, authority softened to near humility. Your grandfather constructed it himself. Pastor Daniels rests a hand lightly on my sleeve. Forgiveness is sacred, Avery. They remain your parents. Some ties outlast conflict. Conflict. Heat climbs my throat. Is that the term for intentional cruelty now? Consider what the congregation will think. Mother glances around as though church members hide behind planters. Families shouldn't broadcast private troubles. The Hayes daughter endured similar strife, everyone's discussing it. I lengthen my spine, strange buoyancy filling my chest. I've been promoted to head of creative strategy, Pastor. Did they mention that when they requested your presence? Or that my group secured the Ellison contract? Pastor Daniels falters, momentarily off balance. That's excellent news, Avery. Congratulations. I withdraw 2 envelopes from my portfolio, placing them on the reception counter. This is the invitation I received for Caleb's wedding. This is the actual one Aunt Evelyn revealed afterward. Pastor Daniels examines both, brow furrowing at the mismatched dates. They deliberately provided the incorrect date to prevent my attendance at my brother's ceremony. My tone remains level, a quiet discovery. This wasn't accident or oversight. It was purposeful removal. Families sometimes choose difficult paths for harmony. Pastor Daniel starts, but I interrupt. I've spent decades forgiving, Pastor. I've offered the other cheek until I spun in place. Now I choose to leave. I meet his gaze directly. Did they inform you about the lake house? How I've covered payments for 8 years while they claimed ownership? How they've required assistance every time Caleb launches and loses another venture? Or how they repeatedly forgot my Thanksgiving invitation yet remembered to request roof repairs? The pastor's confidence wavers. He looks between my parents. Avery, after everything we've given up for you. Mother interjects, eyes glistening. I face her squarely, standing taller than ever in their presence. Name one genuine sacrifice made for me, not actually intended for Caleb. Silence stretches, becoming their reply. I select a large envelope from the counter and hand it to Father. These contain every family photo I've preserved. The ones where I'm partially cropped or positioned apart. I kept them hoping one day I'd feel part of the picture. Father accepts it mechanically, fingers unsteady. I'm releasing myself from the duty of being your daughter. The statement floods my lungs with air. You're released from pretending I hold significance. You cannot simply cease being family. Mother's volume rises. After all we've sacrificed. You've already stated that. I wait. Guard Captain Lee steps forward from his station. Everything all right, Miss Langford? Yes, Lee. My guests are departing. This isn't finished, Avery. Father clutches the photo envelope. Actually, it is. I turn toward the elevators. Lee will escort you out. I step inside without glancing back, doors slide shut, muffling Mother's protests. Lightness spreads through my ribcage, displacing decades of carried weight. 2 weeks pass, news filters through Aunt Evelyn, Caleb lost employment, marriage fracturing under monetary strain. I register only faint, detached compassion, as though viewing strangers through fogged glass. The first letter arrives Tuesday at my office, Father's unmistakable handwriting, crisp capitals etched with flourish. I set it beside my coffee, watching steam curl while I trace the seal flap. Inside could lie fresh manipulation, renewed guilt, disguised demands, or possibly something different. I haven't decided whether to open it, and that freedom, I realize, is the greatest shift I've claimed. Time moves forward. 1 year later, morning sun floods the expensive windows of my lake house study, painting warm designs across oak floors. Photographs, my own, adorn the walls, vistas captured on solitary weekend drives after I cease awaiting invitations. No ancestral portraits here, only scenes chosen and owned by me. My phone rings. For the first time in memory, my shoulders remain relaxed. Avery Langford. I nestle the device against my shoulder while sorting presentation slides. A prospective client inquiring about my independent branding method. As I describe my belief in truthful narrative, my eyes catch the wall calendar. Where once family dates crowded the squares, birthdays observed alone, holidays departed with fresh bruises, now personal markers fill the months, trail run in July, advanced editing course in October, 10 days in Iceland simply to witness the northern lights. The call concludes. I lean back and exhale fully. The lake house, once symbol of obligation, has transformed into refuge. Mail slides through the brass slot. Among invoices rests another thick cream envelope, my name scripted in graceful ink. My pulse skips, then settles. Another wedding, cousin Naomi this time. I trace the raised border, recalling how identical stationery once delivered devastation. The date appears accurate. The reply card bears a personal line, "Your presence would mean everything, Avery. Please join us." For a breath I weigh all reflexes. The former Avery would rearrange schedules, hunt the flawless gift, rehearse deflections about being unmarried and without children. Instead I consult my planner. The date overlaps my landscape photography workshop in coastal Oregon. I select a reply card, pen a sincere message regretting my absence while wishing happiness. I'll dispatch a considered gift, not to purchase favor, but because generosity feels good when voluntary. That evening Aunt Evelyn arrives first for supper, famous peach tart in hand. Marcus follows with a bottle of Bordeaux saved for milestones. Lydia hurries in last, apologizing for a delayed hearing, her laughter warming the kitchen. 1 full year, Marcus announces, lifting his glass at the table. 1 year of boundaries strong enough to envy any castle. To chosen family and rebuilt strength, Aunt Evelyn adds, eyes sparkling. We touch glasses, laughter rises from deep within me, rough at first, then clear and real. Later, alone, I open Father's most recent letter. Unlike earlier pleas laced with blame, this one states plainly, I failed you. You deserve far more. I place it in the wooden keepsake box alongside the rest, not proudly exhibited, not angrily burned, simply noted as chapter closed. Nearby rests a program for a mentorship initiative supporting young women in business. Beneath it, my confirmed itinerary for a solo month in New Zealand. Both symbolize futures shaped by my decisions. Closing the box, I consider whether recovery requires reunion or merely acceptance of what was. Is family blood alone, or the people who handle your heart with respect? Certain bridges burn justifiably, others may be reconstructed sturdier. What matters most, the safety of the known, or the possibility of something truer? The story doesn't end with dramatic finality, life rarely grants such clean conclusions. Instead it continues in quieter ways. Some mornings I wake in the lake house, sunlight touching the same wooden beams my grandfather once planed, and feel no bitterness, only ownership. The space is mine now, not borrowed, not earned through silent payments, but legally, emotionally, fully mine. I walk the short path to the dock most evenings, camera slung over my shoulder, capturing the way light fractures across water. No longer waiting for approval or inclusion. Occasionally memories surface, Caleb's smirk, mother's practiced tears, father's long silences, but they arrive softer, less jagged. I observe them the way one watches clouds passing, present, yet not defining the sky. Aunt Evelyn visits regularly. We share meals, talk about books, travel, the garden she's coaxing back to life. She never asks me to forgive or reconcile. She simply shows up, steady, honest, proud. Lydia and Marcus have become constants too. What began as professional relationships deepen into genuine friendship. We celebrate promotions, commiserate over difficult cases, laugh at shared absurdities. They never demand I explain my family history, they accept the version I choose to share. Sophie reached out twice more after our first conversation. Short messages, checking in, sharing small updates. She left Caleb 4 months after the lobby incident. Now she lives in a small apartment near her sister, rebuilding slowly. We met once for coffee. No deep confessions, no promises of lifelong alliance, just 2 women acknowledging shared recognition of certain patterns. It felt sufficient. My parents' letters still arrive sporadically. Some contain apologies that feel rehearsed, others simply state facts, health concerns, house repairs, quiet admissions. I read them without the old rush of obligation. I respond occasionally, brief, polite, boundary-clear notes. Not out of cruelty, but clarity. I no longer finance their life. Caleb's path has grown rockier, job changes, short-lived relationships, occasional public posts hinting at bitterness. I feel distant empathy, the way one might for a character in a novel read years ago. Not indifference, but detachment earned through self-preservation. Professionally, I've never been stronger. The boutique agency I built thrives, clients value the authenticity I bring, the refusal to perform belonging I no longer feel compelled to prove. My team respects me not because I shrink, but because I stand fully present. The calendar fills with my own milestones, exhibitions of my photography, speaking engagements, solo adventures. Each one chosen freely. Last month I opened another cream envelope, my cousin Naomi's thank you note for the gift I sent. A simple line stood out: your absence was felt, but your thoughtfulness wasn't. No guilt trip, no demand, just acknowledgement. I smiled, filed it away, and continued planning my next trip. Healing, I've learned, isn't always loud reconciliation. Sometimes it's quiet sovereignty. It's choosing solitude over performance. It's building a life where invitations are welcome but never required for wholeness. It's understanding that family can be inherited, or deliberately, lovingly selected. And sometimes, the most powerful act is simply refusing to remain invisible any longer. I close my laptop most evenings, look out at the late reflecting stars, and feel something steady and true. Peace.